A collaboration is technically defined as the act of one working with another to achieve a shared goal. But when it comes to Martin Scorsese and Thelma Schoonmaker, that definition doesn't begin to characterize their remarkable partnership. The collaborative spirit shared between Marty and Thelma is unparalleled and unequaled in the history of cinema. This collaboration extends over 19 feature films and is responsible for some of the richest storytelling seen on screen in the past 4 decades. This is my 5th film with Thelma, Wolf of Wall Street. And I can attest that she is truly an actor's dream. It's been an honor to work with her once again. Her devotion to capturing rare performance is miraculous. I have had the great privilege of watching her edit, and I can only say it's been a gift to see her craft up close. Marty and Thelma work hand in hand tirelessly to achieve one common goal: to tell a good story.
We're here to talk about Paul Greengrass for many reasons. For many reasons, but none more salient to a room full of editors than this one. At an early point in his career as a filmmaker, Paul Greengrass could not afford a tripod. So it was that lack of funds that caused his going handheld with his camera. So all that gripping and shaky, nauseating footage, all for lack of a tripod.
Film is an unruly animal, and you cannot master it, and yet you must be the master of it, and it must be controlled. And in that paradox is filmmaking.
Somebody spent a tremendous amount of time writing me a very intricate script to read off the teleprompter. But I'm just going to improvise a bunch of stuff, no real direction, and I think someone will deal with it later by the time it comes out. Right, Thelma? Right? Yeah. That's how it works. Sorry. I'm actually here to present Best Edited Documentary Feature, and this is really a joy for me to get to present this because in my personal life, which you guys I'm sure really want to know about, all I watch are documentaries, and I think there's no better way as an actor to grow than to watch real people in real life. And an editor has such a difficult job within a documentary because you're sifting through hours and hours and hours and years of footage, and you're sifting through and finding these really beautiful moments, and I just find it so magical that these things come together the way that they do, and I'm surprised every time I watch a documentary how they're able to be carved from all of that shooting. So it's an honor to present this award.
I want to tell you how happy I am to come here tonight to honor a great film editor who is also an Academy Award-winning screenwriter and now teaches at the University of Southern California School of Cinematic Arts, Bobby Jones. Every once in a while I ask myself that could there be an element of sanity in stepping away from the Hollywood movie business? I often think of asking Sylvia Hirsch Jones, Bobby's beautiful wife, who is a noted psychotherapist, or Haley Sussman, who's Bobby's second daughter, who is also a psychotherapist. I would like to talk to them about that. But I really would also like to discuss something else with them, which is my pain. The pain of Bobby having done so many great movies that I am not in. Why was I not in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? I mean, what is it that it's not that I can't play black, you know. Why wasn't I in Coming Home? I'm as political as John Voight, and what about being there? What am I? I'm not as good as Shirley. I mean, what? And also The Last Detail. You know, I mean, Jack. Please, enough. Paint Your Wagon, Clint Eastwood. Please, I don't. Bound for Glory. I used to hang out with Woody Guthrie. He was a friend of mine. But what about Ship of Fools, Mad, Mad World, A Child is Waiting, Love Story, City Hall, Looking to Get Out, Days of Thunder? Bobby, how do you think not being in any of those movies makes me feel?
Thank you. To all ACE, always, we were up here before. We thank you again. Thank you to my wife. And I can't let this moment pass without you know, there are a million people in this room who've inspired me in my craft, but the 4 nominees that in our category, 2 of whom I know, Kevin and Steve, Thelma, who I don't know, and Roderick James, who I'll never know, inspired me in ways that it's hard to describe. So thank you.
But you know, while I was sitting there, I couldn't help thinking about how lucky I am, because I'm so lucky to be able to do something that I really, really love, and to be able to do it with people that are just incredible. And you know, I had the great fortune of assisting Bobby Jones and apprenticing for Halsey when I was young, and these 2 guys taught me so much about life and art and storytelling. I thank you both, you know, from the bottom of my heart.
Before I do my comments, I just want to say, watching that reel of winners, I was alarmed at the kind and supportive applause that I heard. You know, it's almost as though you're human beings with souls. Have you ever been to the SAG Awards? All the applause is pre-taped. And they have to play it loud enough to drown out the grunts and anger and tears. Okay, so I am excited to meet all of you editors. Thank you for having me at your soiree. And thank you so much, really. And for dressing in fresh, unrumpled clothing.
Tonight, we celebrate the accomplishments of editors because you deserve a night of celebration and acknowledgement.
Yes, and we do this by having you all step out of your small windowless rooms and into this big windowless room.
Congrats.
People like to edit the animated features because none of the actors have any bad angles.
Not to mention, no animated character has ever taken the last donut at craft service, even if it is clearly marked Will's Donut.
Let it go, Will.
No, it was very clearly marked, you
Will.
friggin' donut thief.
Will.
It is my great pleasure and my honor to introduce my great friend Richard Halsey and to present you with the 2014 Ace Eddie Career Achievement Award. Richard Halsey. Richard.
This is better than the Oscar, I'll tell you that right now. That's what I feel. Thank you, thank you.
Together, both of you. All the way left. Yeah, let's go together right there. Thank you very much. And right over here, please. Same time together on the end. And on the left, right here.
Well, you make a movie, you make a show, you work really, really hard. You hand the work you do over to the editors, they work really, really hard. And when it comes out, and I've been lucky enough to be a part of some projects that really turned out well this year, The Spectacular Now, a feature film, and Nebraska, and of course Breaking Bad. Well, when it turns out, you really want to thank the editors, and you do. You thank them at a party over pizza when you're all bowling or something like that. And it's nice and all, but they deserve more than that, because what they contribute is, it's everything really. You can do all the work you want, and it's just raw material until they get their hands on it. So it's really nice to be able to get up here and thank editors who have helped make projects that I've worked on, work. Editors have a tough job. They have to understand someone else's vision, try to work with it and get to it, contribute what they can. They find things, they discover things that no one knew were there, and try to figure out what those mean with the director, and then they have to try to do all that without making the director think that it was the director's idea.
Pretty honored, it's one thing when you're nominated by, we've obviously been privileged with a lot of nominations so far, but tonight to be nominated by the ACE is a particular privilege, when it's a bunch of your peers. Certainly for me, that's a real honor.
Yeah, that's the thing, it's, as my mom says, it happens that the tailors like our suits, so it feels good.
Wow. There's a question.
In this film, it was a very unorthodox process because of the length of time that took to make, and also the unconventional technologies that were involved. The beauty of that is that the process allowed for the editing process to dictate other creative process, including the screenplay, the musical process, the screenplay, and also the emotional journey, basically. Cinema is editing, is how you put together. It's like in music. You can have a lot of beautiful notes and phrases, but until you put them together in a flow is when the magic happens.
Well, we wouldn't have a show without an editor. Our editors are fantastic. We have fantastic editors on our show, and we just, they can make a performance. Like
basically, an editor at this point would have cut away from that answer and moved on to something more succinct
they would have moved
and more
on
to the point.
To this, which is like, you should see when he's actually shooting, kind of what it looks like. But the editor can really make you look like you have a performance.
See, they would have cut that out. They would have completely cut that answer out.
That's good.
That's why they're vital.
Yeah. I'm projecting. I'm sorry.
It feels great. It's like, it's a total honor, and I know everyone always says that, but it's really true. When you think that your peers said this film is worthy of a nomination, it's quite touching and quite moving. Remarkably, I've worked with Alexander Payne on all of his films, and he's absolutely wonderful, and we have a great time. And remarkably, this film went together very easy. Some of his other ones are more challenging with tonal shifts and things like that, but this one was, I don't know, either he's gotten very good or something, I don't know. It went together very easy.
Oh, well, you know, editing is one of the greatest jobs in the world, and to be nominated by my fellow editors is so important because we love our job, and not many people understand it, but we love it, and so it means a lot for us to get together and understand what we do, even if nobody else does.
What happens once you get all that finished?
Right. Well, Scorsese, you know, is a great editor himself, and when we screen dailies together is a very important time for me. He tells me what he thinks about every shot, and I tell him what I think, and then I start to strip down to selects, and then I start to cut. Then he comes in and cuts with me completely after he's through shooting, and he's a wonderful editor. And he trained me. He taught me everything I know.
Understanding with him of what he's looking for?
Yes, I mean, we've worked together, you know, for half a century. He told me that the other day. I said, what? We work just like this. We're like one mind almost. It's a wonderful partnership.